What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counter Punch Boxing News, and I want to talk to you guys about the press conference that I saw between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Gayaevich Golovkin. Triple G, he does look slim. So despite all the pictures that we saw, maybe about a month ago, those were pretty false, or he dropped a lot of weight. You know what I mean? He's in shape now. He looks small. He looks about. You can tell he's ready. He's probably about 158 pounds, 158.5, something like that. And and everybody said what they had to say. And you could tell the beef. I think the beef is real. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think that it's made up. A lot of people think that, it's just to promote the fight. I listened to Canelo's comments, and I want to start there with Canelo. And Canelo, he said that it's really all Abe Sanchez. Abel Sanchez, said things that Golovkin didn't have the balls to say. Now, don't get that confused with him just not having balls, but it is a reference of him being somewhat of chicken shit. You know what I mean? Like, hey, yeah, he ain't had the balls to say what I said. What Abe said. And, I got that right. What, Canelo said, he doesn't have the balls. He hides behind his trainer, but I don't know about that. I think he was just throwing shade, throwing salt, simply because of the things that Golovkin already said on his own. He didn't need that. He didn't need to say that with or without Abe Sanchez. So, I just think he was, just making a remark, and the reason why I think the beef is real, between these guys, it's the things that Canelo's saying, Canelo did say before the first fight that Canelo hasn't fought anyone when the negotiations were going on about the money issues that was hindering that fight of happening, and then I think it was 15 million flat or something like that, or 10 million. I can't remember which now, but Golovkin turned it down because he wanted a percentage, and that's what Oscar De La Hoya, the CEO of Golden Boy, that's what he offered Gennady Golovkin at first. But, they ended up, I think it was like 27% to 73, something like that. And then 30, 70. And, the reason why I think that it's authentic is because I never seen Canelo Alvarez say that about any fighter. You know what I mean? I never seen him say, well, even when he fought Erislandy Lara, when he fought Erislandy said a lot of things that that's supposed to piss them off. You know what I mean? And Erislandy is like the guy that he just typically did not like Canelo, and Canelo didn't like him, but it was a real subtle, you know what I mean? He was real passive about how he felt, and I remembered, I seen that All Access many of times because they had, like 4 episodes or 3 episodes, then the epilogue of that, that show, and Erislandy Lara said he didn't respect him, and there's no need for any fighter to respect any other fighter. He's been ducking me 2 years. I have no respect for him, plain and simple. I want to break his face in front of everybody. You know what I mean? That's more direct towards him. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo didn't say anything about Lara at that time. He didn't have anything to say, to that matter, in reference to Lara. He just said, well, hey, talk is cheap. I'll be ready for anything. You know what I mean? He said, estoy listo para lo que sea. He said that, and I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But it was passive. He didn't say anything direct, like, yeah, I'm going to break him down. I'm going to knock his head off, like he said about Golovkin. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is real. I think because either whatever Canelo was doing, or did, he got popped for. He had in his system. I think that really bothered him. And he did say, well, they won't throw me off my game plan. Normally when someone says that, that means that the other team has got under their skin a little bit. And that might be the case because, Canelo didn't even want to do a face-off. And a lot of people thought, oh, he's just doing it because he's scared. He don't want to face him. And I used to think that, but now you think more of it. I just think he just doesn't like Golovkin now because Golovkin had a lot to say. Golovkin, made him pay him more money. A lot of things happened that Golovkin had the opportunity to say, and he figured or expected Golovkin not to say those things. So I think Canelo is really more surprised at Golovkin coming out of his shell versus him coming out of his shell now and saying he had no balls to say what he has to say. I'm going to knock his head off in reference to that, and I'm not even going to look at him through the face-off. He just smirked. You know what I mean? He just did this little rich-like smirk. And I think, a part of that also, though, a percentage of that comes from pride and arrogance. A lot of people don't understand about Canelo Alvarez. He is a real prideful dude. He's real arrogant. He knows he's the cash cow. He knows he has the money. And he shows it, he shows it with this demeanor. He don't talk much, but you can see it in his expressions, his tone. You know what I mean? He's one of those dudes that just, dude, I don't give a damn about you. You're not me. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. He just has that aura, you know what I mean? The way he talks about things, like I don't need the belts. You know what I mean? He sounds like Mayweather. And I'm trying to tell whoever would listen, Mayweather did that to all the fighters that he fought. You know what I mean? See, Pacquiao was the true rival to Canelo. To Mayweather. But like rivals are true to their game because they're your opposite. Canelo just learned a lot from Mayweather, and he just picked off where Mayweather kind of, made the rest of his money with the Pacquiao and the McGregor fight and the Berto fight. But, he pretty much passed the torch when it came to, that arrogant A side, I know I'm the A side, nothing else matters persona that Canelo Alvarez picked that torch up from Mayweather. So he had that going on, and he's been doing it ever since. So, and especially when he beat Cotto, and Cotto had it because Cotto fought him. Look at Cotto. Cotto had that same attitude. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't, he stayed out of the ring a year trying to pick the right opponent, something Mayweather would do. You know what I'm saying? Just like Canelo. Canelo was known for a while. He was known to fight the harder fights. But if you look at after the Lara fight, everything stopped, didn't it not? After he fought Lara, everything stopped as far as tough fights because he knew I pretty much lost that fight. I got outpointed, and the guy ran around the ring and still outpointed me. And it sucked. And Oscar De La Hoya jumped in like no one wants to see a rematch. No one wants to see this fight again. No way, no how, right? Because that messes up the perception, that messes up the persona. And I'm not talking about Canelo's fighting ability. I'm talking about his attitude, his aura, and the things that he does and says, and a lot of things is passive. But now he's actually coming out on Gennady Golovkin because it's all his fault though, But he did say that he could have exploited the openings for Golovkin because Golovkin was exposed. He said, well, I should have done more of that. I should have taken more advantage of the counter punches when, though the opportunity was available, and I didn't do that. So that's why I think this particular fight will be better than the first, because the first fight was good. It wasn't no dull, fight. And I think this fight will be a lot better, and I think a lot of punches will be landed. And honestly, I think Canelo can take Golovkin's punches. He took them well in the first fight, even though he missed a lot of those punches. And Golovkin is not really known to have just this knockout power like people thought he was. His power is accumulative, like Manny Pacquiao's is. Manny Pacquiao does have a strong left hand, but it's the accumulation of those left hands hitting you 25 times around until you're down on the ground. You know what I mean? Just like Golovkin. Golovkin missed a lot of those right hands. A lot of those left hooks didn't really land. The short, choppy ones did when he was inside. He missed a lot of those power shots that he should have got off. So maybe Canelo will give him that opportunity. He did not go to the body like he's supposed to, and I think it's a level of grown disrespect from the Canelo Alvarez corner. That's what I believe. Like, no face off. I don't respect you. I see the same attitude that Oscar De La Hoya had when he fought Arturo Gatti. You guys remember that? It was when Gotti took the fight with De La Hoya, and again, I think that was his second fight at welterweight, and he wanted to test himself, and he went up and fought the Golden Boy. The Golden Boy shut him down in 5 rounds, but it was a lot of things that was done in that promotion when they were promoting that fight that Gotti felt that wasn't cool. You know what I mean? Like, De La Hoya didn't really like to converse with him. He wanted to stay by himself. The same thing that Canelo Alvarez is doing right now with Golovkin. He's separating himself through due to level. That's what, so a lot of people do that, like the snobby group in the school, you know what I mean? The uppity rich kids, they don't want to be near the poor kids or the unpopular kids. That's the same thing happening here, and in this fight, Canelo's not even acknowledging him. Dude, I'm better than you. That's why I'm not looking at you. That's why I got this smirk, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm better than you. And that's what I saw in this press conference. So I just wanted to, talk to you guys about that. You let me know how you guys feel about it. Drop your comments below. Please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.